are following developments tonight in two important legal cases, both with significant implications for this year's presidential election. Good evening. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. Today, the Supreme Court heard arguments over a Colorado case centered on former President Trump's election eligibility. Then hours later, we learned a special counsel will not pursue criminal charges against President Biden for his handling of classified documents. That special counsel report also raised questions about Biden's age and memory. And late today, the president pushed back against that depiction during a news conference at the White House. The special counsel report found President Biden willfully retained classified materials from his vice presidency when he was a private citizen. But the report found his actions did not meet the standard for criminal charges. The report described Biden as a, quote, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory, something the president took issue with.
I'm well-meaning, and I'm an elderly man, and I know what the hell I'm doing. I've been president. I put this country back on its feet.
Why does it have to be you now? What is your answer to that question?
Because I'm the most qualified person in this country to be president of the United States and finish the job I started.
President Biden drew a contrast between himself and former President Trump, who has been indicted for his handling of classified documents and is still awaiting trial. Trump today also lashed out at the special counsel report, calling himself a victim of a, quote, two-tiered system of justice. Now, the other major legal story we're following tonight is that Colorado case that went all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court today. Justices heard arguments on whether Colorado can keep former President Trump off of the 2024 ballot. Colorado's Supreme Court removed Trump's name after ruling he engaged in insurrection. The justices appeared poised to reject that move.
What's a state doing deciding who other citizens get to vote for president?
Colorado is not deciding who other states get to vote for president. It's deciding how to assign its own electors under its Article 2 power.
Now, this is a case that could set precedent for challenges to Trump's eligibility to be on the ballot in other states across the country. Trump and the original petitioner in Colorado's case commented on those challenges today.
Well, I'm a believer in our country, and I'm a believer in the Supreme Court. I listened today, and I thought our arguments were very, very strong.
I've gone through a lot of presidents, and this is the first one that is trying to destroy the Constitution.
It is unclear when the High Court will issue a ruling in this case. Colorado's primary is happening next month. Joining us tonight with some more perspective on today's developments in both of these cases is Professor David Levine from UC College of Law. Professor, we always appreciate the time. Let's start here with the Colorado ballot case. And we heard today many of the justices on the High Court questioned whether it was right to allow a single state to decide which candidates can run in an election. What were their concerns? What are the concerns they have about upholding Colorado's Supreme Court, the disqualification of former President Trump?
Well, good evening, Alex. On a very busy day, what the Supreme Court seemed to be worried about were the potential consequences of a disqualification. They were much less worried about following the text and the original intent of this constitutional amendment and more concerned with a lot of practicalities. Now, as the Colorado Solicitor General said, it's a feature, not a bug, in our system that the states are the ones who are the judges of the qualifications, ultimately leading to our electoral college. It is not really a federal function, and somebody has to make a decision because Congress and the states decided that Section 3 of the 14th Amendment was something that we needed, and it needs to be enforced. And really the choice is, are we going to have the states enforce it, or is Congress going to enforce it on the day that they come together to count electoral votes? It's really one or the other.
And David, how much did today's arguments get at those central questions about whether this portion of the Constitution applies to the office of the presidency and whether former President Trump actually committed insurrection with his actions that led up to January 6th?
Well, they were remarkably uninterested in that topic. about whether or not it constituted an insurrection. Now, the lawyer for Mr. Trump said, oh, it was just a riot, but not an insurrection. But there wasn't much concern about that per se, but rather these practicalities seemed to be the bigger concern. And whenever the lawyer for Ms. Anderson for the challengers tried to talk about the insurrection and why Congress and the states passed Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, at least a couple of the justices tried to brush that off. So it was kind of surprising. For something that occurred across the street from the building in the Capitol, it was pretty surprising that that was not more front and center in this discussion.
All right, finally here, obviously we know this decision has far-reaching consequences beyond the state of Colorado. We have challenges to Trump's eligibility going on in dozens of other states as well. How soon do we expect a ruling here, and what might that ruling look like?
Well, we probably will get a ruling fairly quickly. They moved fast in this case, and normally, we would be guaranteed by the end of June, but I assume they're going to move on this one pretty quickly, maybe a month from now, something like that, maybe even less. And it seemed as if probably all of the justices are on board with not disqualifying Mr. Trump from the Colorado ballot, but how they get there is going to be interesting. So, for example, will they leave room for one state or the other to make their own decision on this? And in particular, how about barring somebody from state office as opposed to federal office? Is it necessary for there to be implementing legislation from Congress, which is where Justice Kavanaugh seemed to be going? So there's a number of ways that they could go, but we can't be sure until we see the opinion. But probably in the next few weeks, we will get that decision. They're going to move quickly on this one.
Yeah, we expect something coming in short order. Okay, let's shift here and talk about the other important legal story we are following today and tonight, and that is that crucial decision from the special counsel investigating President Biden's handling of classified materials. The report found that Biden willfully retained sensitive documents, but the special counsel at the same time determined that he should not be facing any criminal charges. Why do you believe the special counsel decided to, in essence, clear the president and not bring any charges?
Sure, Alex, the issue is that what Mr. Hur, the special counsel, thought was that they couldn't get a conviction, that there wasn't enough evidence of intent, and there was some discussion about how Mr. Biden would look as a witness. But fundamentally, I think the comparison is not so much to Mr. Trump's case, but think about Vice President Pence. Why wasn't Vice President Pence charged? Because it seemed as if it was more inadvertent, and Vice President Pence was very cooperative, as was President Biden. Right. So certainly, Mr. Hur, the special counsel, criticized President Biden for what he did with the documents, and there may have been some sloppiness, let us call it. But at the end of the day, you could not prove criminal intent. Mr. Trump's case is very different. Mr. Trump, according to the indictment, went to great lengths to hide what he was doing. He refused the requests from the National Archives time and again. Right. He had his lawyers lie for him. He avoided a subpoena by having the lawyers lie. Yeah. Arguably, he moved documents around. There's video about that. So the cases are night and day in terms of intent. So I think that Mr. Hur got to the right place, I think where we expected him to go. But compare it to Vice President Pence. Why wasn't Vice President Pence indicted? Same reason as President Biden. You look at these things case by case. It's not a matter of two systems of justice. It's a matter of the facts of each case, and should you go ahead with a prosecution the way good prosecutors do.
Yeah, and certainly the special counsel did draw that contrast between Mr. Biden's case and the case involving former President Trump. All right, David Levine from UC College of the Law in San Francisco. Always a pleasure to get your perspective. Thank you for doing it tonight.
Okay, thanks for having me. Good night.
Absolutely. All right, we turn now to the storms that hit the West Coast this week, causing widespread damage in so many places. And today, crews spent hours trying to rescue a woman who became trapped in a sinkhole in San Bernardino, east of Los Angeles. Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez shows us how crews got her to safety.
You can actually see where the fire department is working to rescue that woman.
Now, a woman who neighbors heard calling from a deep hole at a mobile home park in Fontana.
She was screaming and we could barely hear her, and we were close to the hole.
Terrified, her family and neighbors called 911.
Turns out we have a 40-year-old adult female resident of the trailer park that came walking out of her residence when the ground beneath her collapsed. She has fallen into an old cesspool. She's about 25 feet down.
Mire eso y si te quedas como en shock.
In shock, says her husband, anxiously waiting with others as rescuers work on getting her out.
We're worried about the sides of that pit sloughing in, so we're taking our time with that. We're going to be inserting a rescuer, placing that victim in a harness, and recovering her from that 25-foot hole.
Being lifted up from the hole.
She was just in fear. She was crying. Everyone was saying, "Oh, she's okay. She's okay." She didn't look okay. She was pale as a ghost. That's not her normal color.
But she is awake and talking to paramedics. And residents have a moment to begin to wonder about the cesspit she fell in. We've been here 20 years without anything happening, says her husband and others.
She used to throw parties there. We used to be all the time. We used to play cards there, drink, as family, just everyone gathering there, and it never seemed so unsafe.
These cesspits are no longer in use here in this park. I don't know how many exist.
And they're saying they might close down the mobile homes to see if everything is safe. Right now they're securing that area, and then they're going to move along, but we don't know what's going to happen right now.
All right, we have a sad update tonight on the Marine helicopter crash that happened during snowstorms in Southern California, and authorities have found the bodies of all 5 Marines who were on that helicopter. Efforts are underway now to recover those remains. The helicopter wreckage was found yesterday in a mountainous area about 40 miles outside of San Diego. Authorities say that helicopter was reported missing during a flight training exercise on Tuesday night. The Marines were headed to an air station in San Diego from an air base in southern Nevada. The Marines were from the 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing and the Flying Tigers. The cause of that crash is still being investigated. A touching tribute to the late basketball star Kobe Bryant unveiled today in Los Angeles. Coming up tonight on West Coast Rap, how people will be reminded of his legacy. Also, a signed guitar from Taylor Swift's Eras Tour is up for grabs. We'll explain how this is going to help kids at one school in Arizona.
And here is our live camera this evening looking out towards San Francisco. Current temperature of 51 degrees after a lot of rainfall, at least yesterday. Looks like we may get a break in some of the rain showers. We'll have more in your forecast coming up.
We're following developments tonight in one of Nevada's Republican presidential nominating contests. Caucuses are expected to wrap up across the state in about 15 minutes. President Trump is expected to win. He's the only major candidate taking part. Nikki Haley, the other major Republican candidate in the race for president, participated in the state's primary earlier this week. Nevada's Republican Party does intend to give all of its delegates to the winner of the caucus. The storms that dumped heavy rain across California prompted winter storm warnings in some parts of Arizona tonight. Here is a live look at Flagstaff, where heavy snowfall forced schools to shut down once again today. City offices also closed early as well in Flagstaff, and several highways were also shut down across northern Arizona because of icy conditions. Fox Weather's Nicole Valdez reports tonight from Flagstaff, where some visitors who were expecting mild weather in Arizona we're in for a surprise.
Winter storm warnings in effect for Arizona as residents dig out following heavy snowfall. The area getting walloped with about 20 inches of snow and no sign of a slowdown Thursday. Up north in Flagstaff, nearly impossible driving conditions with low visibility, crippling major highways and shutting down schools.
We knew there was going to be a big storm, but we just didn't know what that would mean. For our house, our street was not plowed for most of the day. It really was impossible to even leave our neighborhood.
1 to 2 inches of snow falling per hour, according to the National Weather Service.
You couldn't see anything. It was totally obscured. You looked out the window, we could see our car parked in front of our B&B, but that's all you could see.
But down south, winter weather in the desert, slushy snow and wet rain hitting Sedona on Wednesday as the snowfall left a dusting on the iconic Red Rocks.
I love the snow on the Red Rocks. I think it is the most beautiful sight.
We saw that it was snowing and we had the day off, and we decided we better come see it while it's here.
A winter storm warning is in effect for the area until Thursday night.
We saw the weather, we're like, oh, perfect time. We haven't been up here in the snow.
Some visiting Arizona looking for some warmth are making the most of it.
We kind of came to Arizona for the warmth, but we are seeing lots of Arizonas, so it's all good.
Meanwhile, officials telling drivers in Flagstaff to resist the temptation to go and check out the snow themselves.
And this snowfall isn't showing any signs of slowing down. We could see another foot of snow accumulate by the end of the day today. In Flagstaff, Arizona, I'm Nicole Valdez, Fox Weather.
Well, those are amazing sights, and basically the same system that moved over the Bay Area, the San Francisco Bay Area yesterday, approaching portions of Arizona, producing all the cold, the showers, and of course all the snowfall. You can see some of the rainfall totals today in Arizona towards Scottsdale and Phoenix. No major totals, but still adding up, 1/4 of an inch to 0.39. Palm Springs 0.30, and Yuma, you can see 0.09. So here is the satellite and the radar. The bulk of the activity, well, a few showers over portions of California, but the bulk of the activity, as you have been hearing about, has been in Phoenix. You can see the radar picking up on the snow showers and also the rain showers as well earlier today. As we check out the view up in the Pacific Northwest, it looks like a few scattered rain showers up towards Seattle. I did see some light rain reports off and on throughout the day. In fact, this was the scene in Seattle today, showing you all the cloud cover. Temperatures only in the upper 40s. So definitely a cooler weather pattern settling in across the entire West Coast. San Francisco, looking out toward the Golden Gate Bridge, the clouds lifting a bit throughout the afternoon hours. Temperature of 55 degrees. And in Phoenix, the camera picking up some raindrops on the camera lens with a high today of 58 degrees this afternoon. We are showing you the current numbers out there, and as you can pick out, San Francisco is 51, Los Angeles in the mid-50s, and some 40s for portions of Phoenix and in closer to Las Vegas. So check it out, the Friday forecast. We're expecting partly cloudy skies up in Seattle. Fair skies for San Francisco, but definitely a cooler weather pattern out there. It looks like we're going to bump up the snow chances out toward Denver tomorrow, and then lots of sunshine for Los Angeles and also out toward Phoenix. That area of high pressure will be building in, and that will promote a drying trend over the next several days for places like San Francisco and Los Angeles. Showing you this, the forecast model. Here we are tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock. Now, there's a possibility we could have some scattered showers closer to San Diego, but look at the snow developing out toward Nevada, out toward Utah, right around Colorado as well. Looks like the chance of some rain showers moving into Oregon tomorrow. So here's kind of the breakdown over the next 3 days for Friday and into the weekend. The most active weather, at least on this map, will be out toward Denver. We are expecting some rain and some snow. Looks like they'll get a chance to dry out in Southern California with temperatures mainly in the upper 50s to right around 60 degrees. So Alex, thankfully we're not talking about any major storms for the communities that experienced the heavy rainfall just a few days ago. A chance to recover over the next several days.
I don't have this moment by myself. All of my fans that I bring with me, each and every person that had anything to do with the music, the creativity, everybody is a part of this celebratory moment.
That is Usher helping to build the excitement for Super Bowl 58. The singer spoke earlier today about being this year's halftime show headliner. And while he didn't give much away about what fans can expect at halftime on Sunday, he is promising that the show is going to be unlike anything he has ever done before. Well, both Super Bowl teams, the Niners and the Chiefs, already have plans in place for big game parties after the big game. TMZ's Branson Quirk has the details tonight on where fans can expect to see those players.
We talked to some sources that have direct knowledge that are close to the Chiefs, close to the 49ers. We found out that the 49ers are going to be partying at a nightclub called Omnia Nightclub. It's one of the hottest nightclubs in Las Vegas. It's right in the center of the Las Vegas Strip. So they're really excited to do that, as long as they do take home the win. We learned from a source as well that the Chiefs have locked down their nightclub. They're going to be at Zouk Nightclub. And this is a nightclub that is relatively new, but we do have info about the DJ or the artist that's going to be playing the music for them that night, and it's going to be the Chainsmokers, because Patrick Mahomes has a direct relationship with the Chainsmokers because he partied with them actually last year. So it'll be interesting.
Coming up tonight here on West Coast Rap, a signed Taylor Swift guitar is going to really help some school kids in Arizona. Tonight we'll have the details on the raffle that will allow somebody to get their hands on a keepsake from her Eras tour. Also, we will show you how the Lakers are paying tribute to NBA legend Kobe Bryant. The latest announcement in artificial intelligence. Google is rebranding its AI services and launching a new app. That free app is called Gemini. It connects users to a digital brain that can write and summarize for them. Gemini is also capable of interpreting images. For $20 a month, users can access a smarter version of Gemini, which Google says will be able to outthink humans on a variety of complex subjects. With this new project, Google is casting aside the Bard chatbot that it introduced last year. Today, the Los Angeles Lakers unveiled a statue to honor the late Kobe Bryant. That was the big reveal. It happened today outside of Crypto.com Arena, formerly known as Staples Center. The date of the event is significant because it represents both of the jersey numbers that Bryant wore during his career, 8 and 24, and his daughter Gigi, who wore number 2.
His leadership went beyond scoring points. I know people only think of him as scoring points, but he passed, I know. I was the beneficiary of many of those passes. And it was about fostering a winning mentality. So when we talk about the Mamba mentality, it's not just about you. And for the guys and girls that wear the shoes and wear the jerseys, and you talk about the Mamba mentality, if you ain't winning, you ain't winning. And that's what the Mamba mentality was also about as well, to push everybody to be their best, not just you.
A statue is a wonderful contradiction. It captures a person frozen in time, while at the same time acknowledges that the reason there is a statue in the first place is because that person is timeless. We're all here today to honor a man who represents not just extraordinary sports achievement, but also timeless values that inspire us all to try harder to be not just better, but our best. Thank you, Kobe.
Bryant won 5 NBA titles during his 20-year career with the LA Lakers. He also helped the U.S. to win 2 gold medals in the Olympics. An incredible tribute to Kobe there in Los Angeles. Finally tonight, a signed guitar that was played during Taylor Swift's Eras tour is now up for auction in Phoenix. Raffle tickets are $100 each, and all of the proceeds here will go to benefit the Shade Tree Academy. It's a private school that provides trauma-informed education for children who've been affected by the foster care system. Organizers say this is the school's first ever raffle, so that donated guitar signed by Taylor herself makes this fundraiser extra special. Something tells me they will be selling a whole lot of raffle tickets with folks trying to get their hands on that guitar. That does it for West Coast Rap tonight. Thank you so much for watching. You can stay up to date on all the stories we're covering online at westcoastrap.com, and you can stream our shows on your smart TV with the Fox Local app. Have a great night. See you back here tomorrow.